want to give y'all an update on my scan gauge. It's been 3 weeks now. Here's my notes where I write down all my shit. But I'm going to break it down for you over here. This is my starting mileage last week. This is my, ending mileage from last week. This is my starting mileage from last week. I drove 2,626 miles. This beginning mileage is at a fuel up. Then I put 60 gallons in one day. Must want to take a shower. I put 76 gallons in one day. And then I fueled up just now, 243 gallons, 0.718. Grand total 380.688. 26 miles divided by 380.698 comes out to, drum roll please, 6.89 miles per gallon. Out of that 26 miles, I had 418 miles empty. And my mileage before the scan gauge was 5.3. Now I'm at 6.89. I have a gain of 1.59 miles to the gallon. Next week I'm expecting a 7 mile per gallon average. Why do you ask? Because I'm only running between Houston and Lake Charles, hopefully. Here's the scan gauge. I'm sitting here parked on the yard doing my math. It's showing 8.8 average. That's from when I kicked the truck off this morning. That's the way that works. But you got to understand, I was bobtail. And I'm gonna tell you this: the scan gauge doesn't. You just don't put the son of a bitch in your truck and say, "Man, I'm gonna give me some good fuel mileage meat." No, dude, that ain't how it works. The scan gauge gives you the opportunity to manage your boost pressure, percent on your load. This tells you your average fuel mileage for the day. And this number changes up. I've had it stay at 2 miles to the gallon for a long time. I've had it up as high as 9.5 miles to the gallon. It's going by your average fuel for that day. When you start in the morning and when you stop in the evening, it's going to tell you what you average for that day. And it's going to be a little off, to a degree, because it doesn't average the day before with the next day. It's the average of that day. Okay? This tells you your miles per gallon, what your ECMs read. This is pretty damn close. It's a lot closer than my CAT display that was in this hole where this was from. And like I said before, hats off to Kevin Rutherford and the scan gauge people. If I would have had to replace my Caterpillar display, it was going to cost me about $2,500 just in parts. This thing here for $200 does everything my CAT display does, and I feel it's more accurate. Now, the way to control your fuel mileage, you watch that boost, you watch that load on that engine using that foot pedal right there on your right. You see that? You stay about 65 miles an hour loaded. See that gauge? On my truck, 3406 C15 CAT with a tune, a 5382 tune, I believe. You keep that around 1400 RPMs loaded. When you empty, yeah, I can scoot up there to 15 and a quarter, about 72, 73 miles an hour. get on with the program. I am time constrained on a lot of my loads, and sometimes I don't have the luxury of riding around at 63, 64, 65 miles an hour. Also, I use that GPS, which needs to be set to not for so much for trip routing as to that's how I monitor my roll, you son of a bitch. That's how I monitor my speed. I hardly look at my speedometer. I look at that GPS and get that digital readout, because I didn't hit the button right, I don't think. Because of the how you call it there? It's easier to look up there and see the digital readout of how fast I'm going compared to looking down at the speedometer, and it's off by a tad bit. It'll show, this will show 63. This will show 65. This will show 63. That'll show 1400 RPMs. And when I set the scan gauge, it's, you know, it's 1400. It's running up and down, up and down, up and down. But it's, you know, around 1400. So I know where I'm at. My truck with the 13-speed 355 rears, sweet spot for my line of work and what I do is around 1400 RPMs. This truck does not like to go below at 1200 and down. It don't like it. I don't care if you cruise it. You know it. And you, I mean, you can feel it. You can literally feel it. You know, you hear people say, "Oh, you can lug them," and not this son of a bitch. This old mare is gonna buck. If you want to go slow for a reason, say 45 miles an hour, you better be in ninth gear, maybe 10th, to keep that up to where this truck ain't a bucking. Now, like I said, it's got a tune in it. I can go from 65 miles an hour to 95 miles an hour in less than 10 seconds, rolling loaded. Loaded 80,000 pounds, less than 10 seconds. I can be at 95 miles an hour from 65 by mashing that pedal. Not saying I'm doing it, but so I just wanted to give a scan gauge update. Managing your power, having the power. There's a lot of variables to this, and I don't want people to think the scan gauge is making the miles per gallon. No, the coon ass named Chuck behind the steering wheel is making the mileage by controlling his foot feed on that accelerator and controlling the boost and the load on that engine. Now, like I said, this son of a bitch run like a scalded ass 8. You know, I got about 30,000 miles on my new engine now. And when I say new engine, I'm not talking about a reman end frame. I ordered a complete long block from Caterpillar. All I did was slip my injectors in, put the starter, alternator, air condition, put a new oil pump in the bottom, and drop her in. You know, it come a new cam, crank, counterbores at the factory, new heads, new actuator gizmos that have been rewired. E-log exempt because the block was built in 1999. It's bad to the bone, bro. And I'm getting 6.89 miles per gallon. This video's getting long. I'm rambling. But y'all see the numbers. The numbers don't lie. There's my little notebook that I write down every time I stop, just to keep track of shit. So, and there's all the figures. And like I said, I drove 26 miles in 4 days last week. 6.89 miles per gallon. 418 miles of that was empty. I don't feel like doing the math right now to get the percent. But I would say, if you, well, hell, I can do the math right now. 26 divided by 4, average 656 miles. So that's one day out of 4, or 25% empty. Yeah, let's just round it off to that. 25% empty miles. And that's probably a lot of you freight haulers do better than that, but you know, loaded to empty. I don't know how you figure that. You know, a lot of y'all do dropping hookers. So anyway, that's the end of my video. I'm just rambling. I gotta go load.